Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL predictions segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks and analysis for Week 4 of the 2019 NFL season. So, anyway, first thing up is I'm going to take first game. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers at home against the Philadelphia Eagles. Green Bay 3-0 right now. They're playing nearly flawlessly both sides of the ball. Their defense has been very, sensational. They're +6 in turnover differential, 0 INTs right now. You look at as far as the quarterback goes. Now you look at Philadelphia. They definitely, have underachieved to say the least. 1-2. -2 turnover differential. They've had 2 critical dropped touchdown passes in the end zone in the last couple games. Just 2 defensive sacks. I think they're going to have a hard time getting to Rodgers in this one. I think that's going to be key. I like Green Bay at home. Next game, I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons at home over the Tennessee Titans. I think it's just in summation very simple. A combination Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Freeman will be enough in this game because it's not going to take that much to beat Tennessee right now. Tennessee, don't get me wrong, I'm a Titans fan, but they just looked deplorable last week. Got sacked 9 times. The offense looked anemic. They seem like they have no synchronicity and cohesiveness on the offensive end, and I didn't think they had any business losing to Jacksonville. If you can't beat Jacksonville, how are you? I just don't see how they're going to beat Atlanta. I know Tennessee's a little bit of an enigmatic team, but I think I really just start to have some doubts over them. So I'm going to take Atlanta at home. Well, next game, I'm going to take New England Patriots on the road to defeat the Buffalo Bills. New England right now, there's just not enough superlatives to describe them. They got 6 defensive interceptions. They're 17-3 versus the AFC East. In the last 20 games, they're giving up under 6 points per game. Number 1 run defense. And of course, the offense executes superbly as it usually does. Buffalo right now, this is a barometer game for them. They've won 7 of their last 10 dating back to last season. But they have been dominated in recent time by the Patriots like many other teams have. They've lost 7 of their last 8 versus the Pats. I think it's going to be 8 of 9 in this game. Buffalo is 3-0 right now. They've played very good football. Again, it's a barometer game for them. They're got a lot to prove. But being at home, they may make this close, being a divisional game, given the familiarity. But I'm still think New England's a little bit better than them right now. I want to take the Patriots to get this one on the road. Next game, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs on the road to defeat the Detroit Lions. Now, Kansas City has 10 consecutive September wins. They've been infallible in September for some time. They are averaging right now nearly 34 points per game, 24 straight games with 25 plus points. I don't know if Detroit is going to get 25 in this one. Detroit right now is undefeated. They have played very well this season. If someone told me that Detroit was going to be undefeated after 3 games, I'd say no, it seemed preposterous, but Kansas City has to go on the road. Detroit will probably make this very competitive, actually being at home. The receivers have actually been played very well this season for Detroit. But I still like the Kansas City Chiefs to get this one in a tight battle. So I'm taking the Chiefs to win on the road. Well, now the next game may not need overabundance of analysis. I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts to win at home over the Oakland Raiders. The Indianapolis Colts right now 6-1 in their last 7 games dating back to last season. They've had at least 19 points scored in each of them. I don't know if Oakland is good enough to get 19 or 20 points in this game. They don't seem like they do it very often. The Oakland Raiders, they had that solid game against Denver in week 1, but they have plummeted to earth recently. They're like 5-14 in their last 19 games. They are just a team right now where their offense is really everything but anemic. Derek Carr needs to really, I think, have a monster game to come out and win and outdo Brissett of the Indianapolis Colts. I don't think it's going to happen. Indianapolis right now, their running game is very good as well. I think there's just too much on the offensive end for Oakland to contend with, and I do like the Colts to win this one at home. Now, next game. I'm going to take the LA Chargers to win on the road against the Miami Dolphins. The Chargers right now, they've averaged about 21 points per game this season. Keenan Allen, #1 in the NFL in receiving yards. Chargers have underachieved, granted, but you can underachieve and still beat the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins have averaged 5.3 points per game this season. They have the worst point differential in the NFL at 117. There's suspicion that they are tanking, though that might be speculation. It's likely, I don't know it for a fact. They're number 32 in run defense. The Chargers could ground and pound the ball and have an adequate passing game, and they could win this one. I like the Chargers to get this done on the road. Now, next game, I'm going to take the Giants to win at home over the Washington Redskins. Who would have thunk it that Daniel Jones would go into Tampa Bay and lead a team back? A miraculous come-from-behind victory last week. Daniel Jones had 336 passing yards. And the Washington Redskins right now, they do not look good at all. Neither one of these teams look great, but the Giants at least can boast they have a victory. Washington right now will be going against the number 32 pass defense in the NFL, or near dead last in pass defense in the NFL. But in this particular game, I'm actually going to go with the Giants. I think Daniel Jones has revived and rejuvenated this team, given the team new life. I really like what he did. I think it's going to continue in this one. They're going to be at home, and Washington is struggling right now. They couldn't beat the Bears at home last week. I don't think they're going to beat the Giants on the road. I think the Giants actually have some swagger. They got some heart and passion and playing with some confidence now, and I think they're going to keep this going. I like them. I'm going to pick them to beat Washington in this game. Well, the next game, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens at home to defeat the Cleveland Browns. Now, Baltimore with the ravenous defense wasn't really that ravenous last week, but they were playing the Chiefs, and what can you really do? You're going against one of the best offenses in the NFL. Baltimore right now, they're #1 in total yards. Baltimore is one of the best offenses in the NFL, #1 in time of possession. Cleveland right now, they're either overhyped or underachieving. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle, but Cleveland certainly is not nearly superseding or even meeting expectations at this point. The only win they have was when they pounded the Jets like 23-3, and that was the Jets. So, really, I don't know if Cleveland is really going to do that much this season. They're a little bit overhyped. I believe Baltimore right now is for real. They did everything but beat Kansas City last week, and they went on the road and almost got it done. They certainly got the ability to win at home over the Browns. I like Baltimore in this one. Well, next game, I'm going to take the Houston Texans at home to beat the Carolina Panthers. I'm starting to become a believer in the Texans. The offensive line, if it can just hold up and protect their quarterback, they should be okay in this game. Now, Carolina got some swagger after winning that game. Last week, they had a rookie quarterback go in and win the game for them. Now, I don't know if he's starting this week, but if that rookie quarterback is starting this week, I just would have to, it would be hard pressed for me to see him win in consecutive weeks and have to go on the road against the Texans. And even if Cam Newton, I don't know what the status on Cam Newton is, but even if he were to come back, he's probably not going to be 100%. For those reasons, Houston with J.J. Watt and their defense, I do like them to win at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the LA Rams at home over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the LA Rams, one of the just few knocks on them, they've been playing nearly flawless football, but one of the few knocks on them is that they don't have many first half touchdowns. They seem to be notorious for starting pretty slow, but they do finish strong. It's the final outcome is what matters. Right now, the Rams are like 26-9 in their last 35 games. This team just knows how to win. You've got Aaron Donald, and you've got a great defense on this team. You don't need a phenomenal offense necessarily to win, of course. Now, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they do. Right now, they are not looking did not look very good, squandering that halftime lead they had against the Giants last week. But right now, their pass rush is not that bad. They have Shaquille Barrett, who's leading the NFL with 8 sacks right now. But I just don't know if the pass rush is going to be enough to get it done. I mean, the Rams are going to be at home. The Rams are really, I mean, they're still one of those elite upper echelon teams right now in the NFL. You'd be hard pressed to go against them thinking that the Bucs can go in there and get it done. Now that would be miraculous. So I'm going to take the Rams to win at home. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that. I'm back. Anyway, next game, I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks on the road to defeat the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle right now, they really underachieved last week. I don't see that happening in consecutive weeks. It's a week of redemption for them. They're number 9 as far as the running game goes, and they're going to be going against the number 30 run defense in the league. Arizona has gotten rid of Michael Crabtree. They're allowing over 29 points per game. They're one of the worst teams as far as the red zone offense goes right now. I just really don't think it's a good game for them to win. I don't see it happening. I like Seattle. They're coaching, and I think they're going to bounce back. Seattle is an experienced team. They're resilient, and I like them to get this done on the road. Next game, I'm going to take the Chicago Bears to win at home over the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Chicago, right now, they have one day, as far as rest, one less day to rest, but because they played on Monday night, but I think they're going to be okay. They seem to be revived after a very poor week 1 showing against the Packers. Maybe that was just an aberration. They played very well against the Washington Redskins team. They went on the road in front of the Monday Night Lights and emerged victorious. Minnesota right now, I think the jury is still out on them. 2-1 right now. It's interesting how so early in the season a lot can be made, a lot of supposition, speculation can be made. After 4 weeks, if Minnesota wins this game, they'll be 3-1. They lose, they'll be 2-2. If they lose this game, they'll be like, well, Kirk Cousins maybe he's just a mediocre quarterback. He can't get this job done. If they win this game, go 3-1, it could be like, well, everybody could be seen in a new light on this team. At Minnesota, what they need to do in this one is try to dominate time of possession with their running game and really play mistake-free football against the Chicago Bears, and I just don't know if they can do that. So I'd like the Bears to get this one at home. Well, next game, I'm going to take the Denver Broncos to win at home over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Denver, I mean, it's hard to really pick them, but I feel it's inevitable. They got to win some game. They are at home in this one. Jacksonville is not exactly a world beater. I don't think they're going to have Nick Foles in this one. Denver has lost 7 consecutive games dating back to 2008. They've allowed 11 sacks in the process, but I think it's about time they're going to make their adjustments. They'll make their modifications. Jacksonville, for a quarterback to go in there, to win 2 consecutive weeks of backup. They beat the Titans last week, granted, but can they do that 2 weeks in a row and have to go into a very unfamiliar environment in Denver? I think Denver's going to get its first win this season. Jacksonville does have 13 defensive sacks right now. If they can get to Flacco and really use their relentless pass rush to their advantage, they have a shot. I still like Denver to win in a close one. Well, next game, I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to win on the road against the New Orleans Saints. Dallas right now, they're one of the best rushing offenses in the NFL. New Orleans is not, as far as their defense goes. They're like number 28 in run defense. New Orleans, granted, they seem revived and rejuvenated after that win last week. Teddy Bridgewater did a very good job. Touchdown, Teddy. New Orleans, of course, is going to seek retribution after losing to Dallas last season. I would not be shocked if the Saints pull out a victory in this one, but I think Dallas, top to bottom, is the better team. I think their running game is going to be the difference. I think they're going to win in those trenches with their offensive line against the defensive line of the Saints. So I do like Dallas to win in this one in a tight battle. Last but not least, I'm going to take the Steelers at home to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. The Steelers, I think, not mistaken, these two teams have a combined record of 0-6. It's going to be a Monday night game. But anyway, also looking at this, the Steelers right now, they're a team in flux and disarray. It's like the mighty have fallen so quickly. The team is either has an injury or because they've lost Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. Right now they are struggling, and even though those two players were a distraction, they're definitely feeling this. It's really been detrimental to them. Unfortunately, life without those players is actually has hurt them, even though it might have been to their benefit in the long run to have gotten rid of them. Right now, Pittsburgh Steelers are number 31 in time of possession, so they got to work on that in this game, control this clock a little bit better than they've done previously. Their good news for them is that they are playing the Bengals, which are like 2-8 on the road in the last 10 games. They're also like, in terms of giveaways, their turnovers, they're one of the worst in the league with 8. So I think in this game, I think Cincinnati just going to make a few more critical errors than Pittsburgh. It's like Pittsburgh is really less worse than Cincinnati, and that's why, and they're at home. That's really ultimately the tiebreaker. It's basically on virtue of them being at home why I'm picking them in this game. So I like the Steelers to win at home. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment, and until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.